Live in the bottom half of the first inning, we joined this game already underway. The Saints put up 3 runs in the top half of the first inning, all 3 unearned. It came like this. Sutorius on the mound got the first 2 guys out. Forte with a ground ball to first base. Morgan Allen with a fly out to center field. Then he walked Drew Cowley. Lovano reached on an error by the third baseman Lipscomb. And then Pete Durkee hit a double to right center field. That brought home both of those runners. And Jason Gonzalez singled the left center, which brought home Durkee. Gonzalez was then stranded there on a a pop out to the third baseman Lipscomb to end the first inning. So now we're in the bottom half of the first. Cade Bollinger on the mound for the Saints as he's looking to keep the 3-0 lead that his offense gifted him in the top half of the inning. Mitch, what did we see in that
defense waiting for their pitch, guys being able to be a bit more selective at the plate, and when Sartorius was falling behind in those counts, he'd have to lay one in there, and Saints took advantage of it.
So now leading things off for the Riptide, Michael Peabody, who watches the first pitch from Bollinger find the strike zone. Count moves to 0-1.
Again, we do apologize for the technical difficulties to start. Gotta love an automatic computer restart.
As the 0-1's lined into right field, it'll drop right in front of Forte out there. He'll collect it, throw it back into the infield. And on board with a leadoff single is Peabody, the center fielder for the Riptide. Let's real quickly go over to Mitch for the starting lineup of the Riptide.
So we just saw Michael Peabody, who is the Riptide leadoff man. Batting second in the box right now is Max Ferguson. He's in left field. Batting third, Dylan Rock. He's the right fielder. Batting cleanup, the catcher Connor Aoki. Batting fifth, the first baseman Andre Antone. Batting sixth, the third baseman Trey Lipscomb. Batting seventh, the designated hitter Daniel Jung. Batting eighth, the second baseman Blake Evans. And rounding things off, batting ninth, the shortstop Carson Matthews.
So now with Ferguson watching the first 2 pitches go by and both of them missing, he's got a 2-0 count. Bollinger has been one of the best pitchers so far this season for the Saints. Best pitcher statistics-wise, that would be Colin King, but he had to depart from the Saints halfway through the season. As the 2-0 is taken, it finds that outside corner. Count moves to 2-1. So Ferguson, who got the start in left field today, awaits the 2-1. Bollinger delivers this one in the dirt, and count moves to 3-1.
Now you mentioned Colin King being the Saints' top starting pitcher, or top pitcher in terms of ERA this summer, and he left a couple of weeks ago. He reached an innings limit that was set on him by his college team, and would miss him in this playoffs.
The 3-1's poked in between first and second out into right field. Forte collects and fires it into the infield all the way to third base, where Gonzalez collects, but that's back-to-back singles to get things started here for the Riptide as the first 2 men are aboard. So now real quickly, let's do a defensive alignment for the Saints. Cade Bollinger on the mound pitching to Thomas McCarthy behind the plate. At first base is Pete Durkee. Second base, Morgan Allen. Shortstop is Drew Cowley. Then it's Jason Gonzalez at third, Evan Russell in left, Christian Scott in center, and Anthony Forte starting in right field. Now coming to the plate, the right fielder for the Riptide, Dylan Rock, wearing number 22.
And going back to Colin King with the innings limit set by his team, and I don't know, maybe it's a personal thing, but I don't agree with inning limits. There are a lot of pitchers nowadays at all levels tearing their UCLs and having to get Tommy John surgery, and I think coaches are becoming too overly cautious. Because there were guys in the past, Bob Gibson, Nolan Ryan, they would throw complete games 4 out of 5 times. And they never had any elbow problems. And so I personally think that it's the concern, and they're not letting pitchers throw too much, that is what's causing all the injuries.
Now, do you think it's possible that today's game is different from then? Pitchers are throwing harder. more consistently as well.
That is definitely a possibility.
I feel like there's a whole lot of factors in that one as Rock fouls it off and count moves to 2-1. I do see your point, though. There is a lot of overprotection going on, if you can say that. But I personally agree with innings limits. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how it works out for Colin King this season at Regis College. He looked really good. Performed absolutely out of his mind for the Saints this year as the 2-1 is in the dirt, but swinging through it is Dylan Rock, and the count's even at 2.
I guess I understand innings limit in terms of just overall preserving the strain on the arm, but I think when coaches say they'd like to limit innings to save their elbows, that's what I struggle to believe is really working. Ryan who said when
as the 2-2's crush, and following him is Ferguson as 2 come home on that. Dylan Rock with one swing of the bat makes this a 1-run ball game, as there's still no outs here in the home half of the first inning. And the tying run standing there on second base.
Good piece of 2-strike hitting from Rock. Sent that all the way to the flagpole out in left center field, just out of view in the camera. But also with going back again, talking about playing different sports as you're growing up, a lot of pitchers now, when they're trying to reach the next level, all they do is pitch. And I think that's I think that kind of leads into the problem, is that because they're pitching and that's all they're doing, the same type of motion every single time, I think that's what's kind of putting the strain on the elbows. Where, again, Nolan Ryan was saying, if you're playing baseball and then the next day throwing a football around and then the next day shooting a basketball, it's all different motions. And I think that kind of would help relieve a bit of the stress on the elbows.
Specialization has become a problem in almost all sports at this point, as the 0-1 is fouled off out of play and Aoki finds himself down 0-2. But no, specialization, I was actually just reading an article written, I believe it was for ESPN a couple weeks ago. Kobe Bryant helped out in that one. He was a main interview for it. It was talking about how today's youth basketball system is ruining the kids, ruining the talent of the future, and how these kids are reaching professional levels and already have so much stress and wear and tear on their body that they're not able to play 20 years in the league. Mm-hmm. So specialization has just absolutely forced these kids to go through a whole lot more than you think so. I remember one of the recommendations that Kobe had was to play multiple sports, or if you're going to stick to one sport, don't play 5 games a week until you get up in age, but play. If you're young, if you're 9 years old, 10 years old, play 2 games a week, have 2 practices, max. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, you'll still get better that way. But a lot of these kids are playing every day. As that one's chopped over towards third base, Gonzalez collects, throws across the diamond for out number 1. Someone who has specialized on the mound for the Saints so far this year is Cade Bollinger, who's out there. He just got the first out of the game for the Saints. He's pitched 27 1/3 innings this year. He was one of the 8 Saints selected to perform in the CCL Prospects game. So he's definitely come in and made a name for himself. Bollinger's out of Texas State. He's 6'6", as the first pitch to Andre Antone finds the outside corner. Count moves to 0-1. 6'6", redshirt junior out of Texas State. He spent his freshman year with UTSA, and he moved over to Midland College and made the jump from Midland to Texas State, as the 0-1 is chopped foul towards the dugout of the Riptide. But something to talk about here, he wasn't a PO at Midland College. He actually batted and pitched. These are his batting statistics from his sophomore season in college. 384 average, a 1.136 OPS, 10 home runs, 12 doubles, 3 triples, 55 RBI.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I remember By the way, the 0-2 missed high and inside to Antone, so it counts 1 and 2. I remember when we had him on the broadcast to have a quick interview with him, I asked him, you know, what was the decision process like becoming a PO? Because you put up fantastic statistics as a hitter. 1-2 misses low for ball 2. He told me, well, to be honest with you, the coaches thought I'd go further as a pitcher. He's definitely shown that he has the talent on the mound so far this season. And we're going to see if he can find his way out of this a little bit of a jam. 2-2 to Antone is driven deep left center field. Tracking back is Scott. He'll get underneath it, make the play. And tracking back to second base is Dylan Rock. So now 2 down in this home half of the first inning.
Two good bounce back batters for Bollinger after giving up 3 straight hits to start the game. Has gotten the last 2. Well, they haven't been the softest hit outs, but outs nonetheless.
So now Trey Lipscomb, the third baseman for the Riptide, comes up to the plate. 2 down, runner in scoring position. He watches the first pitch drop into the top half of the zone for strike 1. A little bit of off speed to start off the third baseman wearing number 23. These two teams became very familiar with each other in the beginning parts of the season. They played each other 7 times total, as all teams do. You play 7 games against all of the teams in your division in the CCL. But they got to know each other very well. There were some altercations in the beginning of the year. It seemed like as the year approached the end, the play was a little bit calmer between the two of them, as the 0-1 is swung through and missed. Count moves to 0-2. But these are definitely two teams that know each other and know each other well. So don't expect either team to go down quietly, especially here in this elimination game. You know, this is basically a wild card game. The winner of this game goes on to play Santa Barbara tomorrow for the championship of the Southern California CCL Championship, as the 0-2 is swung on and missed. And Cade Bollinger sends him down swinging after giving up 3 hits to start the inning, gets the next 3 guys out, and we'll head to the top half of the second inning. Saints in control 3-2. They'll try and add on to their lead. Don't go anywhere. You'll listen to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live with Matt Berner and Mitch LaFave, the broadcast home of Arroyo Seco Baseball. Thomas McCarthy to lead things off for the Saints here in the top half of the second inning. One of the 2 Saints that has not seen the plate so far this game. Sutorius on the mound pitching to him. First pitch from him in the dirt for ball 1. Devin Sutorius getting the start for the Riptide today. He gave up the 3 runs in the top half of top half of the first inning. Well, those 3 runs were not earned to my scoring, as the 1-0 misses high for ball 2. McCarthy, one of the 4 catchers that rotate for the Saints, as the 2-1 finds the strike zone, although really it became a 3-catcher rotation towards the end of the season, with Pete Durkee pretty much staying over there at first base. So McCarthy getting behind the plate today. We'll probably see either Wyeth or Thomas behind there tomorrow if the Saints move on. 2-1 lined into right field. It'll drop, and McCarthy's on board with a leadoff single. The Saints offense has not cooled down in between the first and second, as Christian Scott, the center fielder, will come to the plate. Scott serving as that second leadoff man. He's hitting the 9-hole pretty much all season long, but it hasn't dimmed his performance at the plate. He's done a very, very good job getting on base, getting in position to score. He's only hitting .259 on the year, as he fouls the first one out of play. However, he's walked 9 times.
I would say he does get on at about a .340 clip. This is on base percentage, so pretty good.
He's done a good job getting on base, getting some offense started. In that 9-hole, you really are the turnover point. You know, you're the last batter before you get to the top of the order. So if you're able to get on base consistently, it'll help your offense a lot, as the 0-1 misses low and away for ball 1.
And Forte at the top of the lineup with the higher batting average. But again, I'm talking about Christian Scott, still getting on base at a good clip, and he's been really one of the main speedsters for the Saints. 8 stolen bases.
1-1 chopped right back up the middle. That'll drop and get into center field. Jogging towards second base safely is McCarthy, and the first 2 men are on board with back-to-back singles. And that'll bring up the top half of the order. So the 8 and 9 hitters do their job to get on base, turn the order over, and that'll bring up Anthony Forte for his second at-bat of the game. In his first one, he saw 2 fastballs go past him. Those both found the strike zone, and then he's got a breaking ball on the inside part of the plate, rolled over it. It was picked up by Antone. He stepped on the bag for out number 1 in the first. Now he's got no outs, 2 men on here in the second. 1-run lead already. Sartorius is going to watch McCarthy jog back towards second base, and timeout's going to be called from the Riptide dugout. Now, the Saints are the 3 seed. They are the away team, but they are set up in the home dugout. So that caused some confusion already, and it caused some confusion before first pitch was even thrown. We heard that a couple general managers had to have some chats, talk about how the fact that the Riptide, who finished as the higher seed, should have the choice of which dugout they wanted. Ultimately, the Saints ended up in the home dugout, the Riptide in that away dugout. And I can't fault the Riptide if they chose to be in that away dugout, because it's always got to feel weird setting up in a home dugout that's not really your home, you know? The Riptide, they've been here at least 3 times this season, and they've played all 3 of those in that dugout, that away dugout. So I can't fault them for choosing that away dugout, just for matter of comfort. The chat on the mound is done, and we're about ready to resume play here as Forte steps back into the box. Sartorius looking for the sign, gets one he likes, and now he comes set. First pitch to Forte, breaking ball inside. Forte kind of moves out of the way of that one, and count moves to 1-0. Now the 1-0 fastball finds the strike zone, and Forte's seen a couple of those so far this game. Sartorius has thrown 41 1/3 innings, and he has an ERA of 3.48. Not one of the highest ERAs on the team. Also not one of the lowest, as the 1-1 gets by Forte and the count moves to 1-2. We were talking to the Conejo Oaks broadcasters before the game. They're here. They're going to be calling all of the playoff games because it's hosted at their home field. Why not, right? And he was telling us about the Riptide and their pitching staff and how the Riptide starters aren't necessarily the most formidable, but their bullpen has gotten the job done all season long. Now the 1-2 popped up in the air over our heads, and the count will remain 1-2. You know, on Sunday, when Nicolette and I were calling a game here, Mitch, there was a pop fly, got over the netting, and landed maybe 2 feet away from Nicolette.
That's the dangers of being a broadcaster, I guess.
Well, I just couldn't believe it caught that angle, because that's a pretty remarkable angle to hit. It pretty much has to come straight down once it's past the net, as the 1-2 is fouled off once again.
If there isn't a lot of room between the nets and the overhangs from the overhangs behind us, so it is a tough angle.
We probably should have signed him up for a basketball team right after that. Incredible angle he found there, but unfortunately, neither Nicolette nor I were able to make the catch. I was a little too far from it, as the 1-2 is lined into foul territory down right field. Coming over and making the grab is Rock. He'll throw the ball into the infield. Moving up successfully are both the runners. So Scott moves over to second, McCarthy over to third, and there's 2 runners in scoring position for Morgan Allen. Allen swung at the very first pitch he saw in the first inning and took that one to deep center field. If he's able to recreate that, that's a run here. Allen missed a sizable part of this season due to an injury to his hand. But if you talk to any of the players since he's come back, he's been a hitting machine, and he's done his job. He had a scary moment last Sunday. He made a sliding play, came up hobbled, but he's good to go and back in the lineup, as the first pitch to him is a breaking ball in the dirt, misses low for ball 1.
He's been .356 in 16 games coming into this afternoon, so it's a bat that the Saints welcomed back with open arms.
And Allen just turned 19 a couple of weeks ago. Chops the 1-0 foul out of play, counts even at 1. We actually had him on the broadcast for his birthday. And it was a very good interview. I talked to him about, how he prepares for the day, how he gets everything done, and I even asked him what his mindset and what his words of wisdom for the youth that want to play in baseball would be. And he told me, if I was talking to any young guys who want to get into baseball, as the 1-1 is chopped right up the middle, will land in center field. Coming home to score easily is McCarthy. Throw at the plate will be cut off by the pitcher. No, excuse me, it skips past Antone. Scott comes home to score easily, and the score moves to 5-2 in favor of the Saints. So Morgan Allen brings home 2 with that single, and you know what? No better time but right now to finish off that story. He said, if I were going to be talking to a bunch of young kids who wanted to play ball, I'd let them know, work out a lot, but keep your passion alive. Keep your passion alive. Make sure you always love the game. So now, coming up to the plate, Drew Cowley, his middle infield partner. Took the first pitch for strike 1. That's the first strike he's seen all game today. He saw 4 pitches in his first plate appearance. Made it all the way to first base thanks to those 4 missing the strike zone. Now with an 0-1 count, runner on first and 1 down, he watches the 0-1 find that outside corner, and the count's 0-2.
And that advice from Morgan Allen, it can really even be tied back to the conversation we were having last inning. Keeping your passion alive and well. And when the youth sports now, when they're playing almost every single day of the week, it's possible it could burn someone out.
It's very possible you could get burnt out. Cowley swings through the 0-2 fastball, goes down swinging. Now there's 2 down here in the top half of the second inning. So that'll bring up Thomas Lovano, the best hitter statistics-wise, I believe, on the Saints so far this season. He's top 3 in the league. I think Jason Gonzalez has a better average, but he doesn't have enough at-bats to qualify for that leaderboards.
Gonzalez has played in 13 games compared to Lovano's 29. So,
and I was talking to Thomas's parents on Sunday, and they told me when he came to the Saints, he was supposed to be basically a fill-in player. As he swings through the first pitch, gets a piece of it, and count moves to 0-1. He was just supposed to be a fill-in player, play until the normal starters got here. And I'm sure the Saints are really thankful they brought him in, because he has made his name and carved his spot into the starting lineup for the Saints. And he started almost every game that I've seen him play. I haven't seen him come in too often off the bench, as the 0-1 misses high and outside for ball one. And you know what? He's hitting .364 on the season, according to the Saints statistics, in 107 at-bats. That's 39 hits. 26 of them singles, 8 doubles, and he's got 5 home runs, which leads the team, and it even leads the team with Garriola on it, as pickoff attempt gets Allen moving off first base. He tries to swim around the tag at second. He's unsuccessful, though, as he's tagged out. Lovano does a little fake swing at the plate, and we will head to the home half of the second inning. The Saints tag on 2 more, as we'll head to the home half. It's 5-2 in favor of the Saints. Don't go anywhere. You listen to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, the broadcast home of Arroyo Seco Baseball. Daniel Young coming up to lead things off for the Riptide. First pitch to the DH misses outside for ball one. So the Saints have scored in both innings. They've come to the plate. They put up 3 in the first half, or excuse me, 3 in the first inning, 2 in the top half of this one. The Riptide going to have to answer here if they want to stay in it. 5-2. They put up 2 in the home half of the first inning. As the 2-0 finds the inside corner, count moves to 2-1. Jung hitting .303 on the season. 2-1 misses low and outside for ball 3. Bullinger wasting no time out there on the mound. He's got 1 home run to his name, 9 doubles, 17 singles. As he watches the 3-1 miss low and outside, he will take the trot down to first base as the leadoff man is aboard via the walk, and that'll bring up Blake Evans, the second baseman.
How many times this season have we talked about leadoff walks and
too many times
how damaging they can be?
All I hear whenever someone says the combination of words, leadoff walks, I just hear my coaches echoing in the back of my head. Leadoff walks always score. Leadoff walks always score. We'll see if Bullinger can find a way to prevent that from happening, as his first pitch to Evans finds the strike zone. Evans getting the start at second base today for the Riptide. Wearing number 15, the Riptide in their blue jerseys with white sleeves, white pants, and same blue on their socks. as the 0-1 misses low for ball one. The Saints in their dark blue jerseys, white insignia, gold numbers, gray pants, and then those blue stirrups over the white socks. Bollinger taking his time now, looking at Jung over there at first base. The righty gets his sign and delivers. Swung on and missed. And the count moves to 1-2.
You mentioned the uniforms, and that's one of the things I love about the Saints away uniforms is that everyone out in the field is rocking the stirrups. At home, it's kind of a mixture between high sock stirrups and low pants, but away, it's all the same.
And that could be a little bit of a statement, you know. You want to make sure that everyone knows you're a team when you're out there on the road. Show your identity as the 1-2 misses high for ball two. Evans thought about going around, but was able to hold up. At home, I mean, you're traveling to that team. You know they're a team. You know they're going to play together as a team. But on the road, you always want to make one extra effort at least to show that you showed up and support each other as a team, as a unit. So now the 2-2 from Bollinger. Finds the outside corner, strike three looking, and Evans goes down for out number one. So that'll bring up Carson Matthews, the shortstop for the Riptide. He's out of BYU. Matthews is hitting .252 on the season. Has 5 extra base hits, one of them a home run. The other 4 come in the fashion of the double. First pitch finds that inside corner, strike one. Matthews wearing number 5 for the Riptide. Trying to keep something going here in the home half of the second inning as the 0-1 misses low and outside for ball one. Bollinger kind of fell off the mound after that one. Bollinger works really quickly when there's no runners on base. Doesn't like to waste a whole lot of time on the mound. As the 1-1 has a chopper towards third base. Gonzalez fields it, picks it up, fires across the diamond, not in time. Good pick by Durkee. But on board with an infield single is Carson Matthews, and now there's 2 men on with only 1 down. And that brings up the top half of the order for the Riptide as Mike Peabody comes up to the plate. He singled to lead things off in the home half of the first inning, came home to score after a single off the bat of Ferguson and then that 2 RBI double off the bat of Dylan Rock.
And on that single by Matthews, high chopper, Gonzalez at third decided to play back and wait for the hop. And because of that high hop, Matthews was able to race down the line in time.
First pitch swinging is Peabody. He gets a piece of it. It ends up in the glove of McCarthy. The count is 0-1. I'm not sure Gonzalez could have played it any differently, though, because of how high that chopper was. That was pretty much the perfect hit for an infield single. Nice high chopper towards a corner infielder, and obviously that corner infielder not being first base. As the 0-1's in the dirt, McCarthy blocks it, but advancing to third is Jung, and now on his way to second base is Matthews. So both runners advance, 2 runners in scoring position, and a 1-1 count with 1 down to Peabody.
A tough block for McCarthy. Ball bounced well in front of the plate and came up and hit his mask. And so because of that, it got pretty far. It got far enough away from him for the runners to be able to advance.
And he's kind of walking around a little bit, doing some movements just to try and loosen up, get back into the game. Looks like he's good to continue as he gets back into his squat and gives Bollinger the sign. The 1-1 to Peabody. He went around, as that one might have found the strike zone regardless. Count moves to 1-2.
You made mention of the Saints uniforms, and I do want to point out Peabody at the plate has what looks like about half of his buttons unbuttoned at the top of his shirt. And
that's got to at least be the top 3 that are not buttoned. I mean, it comes all the way down to about the name of the Riptide.
I think the only other person that I've seen do that in the major leagues was Mike Napoli.
Ha. Napoli certainly had some power as Peabody put some power into this one. It drops foul, though, down the right field line, and the Saints dodge a bullet there, as that probably would have been both runs, and Peabody would probably have been scoring, or excuse me, standing in scoring position.
About
yeah, go ahead.
About 5 feet to the left, and that hits the wall in fair territory, so Saints catching a break.
I was going to say, missing 2 runs there by about 5 feet, as Peabody, instead of having a 2 RBI double, comes back to the box with a 2-2 count. Bollinger goes at him again. This one fouled off out of play, this time very foul down the left field line. So Peabody refusing to go down without a fight. I've always found that, well, at least for me personally, it was always hard for me to get going once again after I knew I missed a big hit by a couple feet. Mentally, you're just always thinking in the back of your head how close you were to that. As a 2-2 missed outside for ball 3. But then again, that's probably why I'm broadcasting now and these guys are out there on the field. So now a full count with 1 down. Payoff pitch from Bollinger. Swung on, lined into right center field. Tracking over is Scott. He'll get underneath it, make the play. Coming home to score is Jung. Advancing to third, that's Matthews. And that is a sac fly off the bat of Peabody. Moves 1 run home and then 1 run 90 feet away from scoring for Max Ferguson, the left fielder.
Well, Peabody may be frustrated he wasn't able to drive in both on that fly ball down the line that ended up foul. Can't completely shake his head, as he still did drive in 1 run and gets one of those runs that they had given up in the top half back.
Like you said, they got 1 back. Scoreboard has a 0 up in the home half of the second inning, but it should be a 1 as the score is now 5-3 in favor of the Saints. Riptide have a runner 90 feet away from making it a 1-run ball game, though. That's Matthews, Carson Matthews, standing on third base. First pitch to Ferguson missed for ball 1. Now the 1-0 misses inside for ball 2. First pitch of this game was at 4:35 p.m. 85 degrees out. As the 2-0 from Bollinger got a check swing off the bat of Ferguson. He was unable to hold up as the count moves to 2-1. 2-1's in the dirt. McCarthy blocked it enough to keep it within that little circle around home plate. Count moves to 3-1. Bollinger struggling to find the strike zone here. He's had a couple of counts reach 3 balls. The leadoff man, he walked on 5 pitches. Then last at bat was a full count. Now it's a 3-1 count here. And he misses high for ball 4 as Ferguson will come around to first base, and Dylan Rock will come to the plate. He had a 2 RBI double in his first at bat. And he's got a chance to do some more damage with runners on the corners and 2 men on here. And that'll be a timeout called by the Saints as a assistant coach, Coach Toges, will go out there, have a quick chat with his pitcher on the mound, calls his infield in as well to have a chat with them. Only one who didn't follow suit is Pete Durkee standing over there at first base. There are some people having a really good time here on the campus of Cal Lutheran, California Lutheran University in Thousand Oaks, California. We can hear them screaming and yelling behind the stands. As the meeting's finally over on the mound, the words that need to be said to Bollinger have been said. We'll see if they work out.
And just a couple of rough last few at-bats. Peabody drew the count full and also had picked up a couple foul balls in that count. And then Ferguson working the walk, so something to maybe calm Bollinger down.
Also, going back to it, we said leadoff walks always come home to score. Daniel Jung came home to score on that sac fly off the bat of Peabody. And he was the leadoff man who got on board thanks to the 5-pitch walk. Now the first pitch to Rock misses for ball 1. So once again, there's runners on the corners. Ferguson standing on first base. He reached on a walk. Matthews on third. He reached via the single. 1-0 to Rock. Breaking ball misses just low and outside for ball 2. Rock had a 2-2 count. Shortened his swing and lined one to deep left center field. That brought home 2 runs for the Riptide in the home half of the first inning.
Rock second on the Riptide in terms of RBI. He has 22 this summer.
The 2-0 misses low. Ball 3. 3-0 count. Do you think Rock has the green light?
I would not give him the green light here. Bollinger has really been struggling with his command. And so even if he does catch the strike zone on this one, still in another good hitter's count.
3-0. He does not swing. The ball bounces. McCarthy blocks it. Picks it up and throws it back to Bollinger as on board with a walk, a 4-pitch walk is Dylan Rock. And now the bases are loaded with 2 down here in the home half of the second inning, and that'll bring up Connor Aoki, the catcher for the Riptide. He grounded out to Gonzalez in the first inning. That was his first at bat. Had a 1-2 count when he hit the chopper. Now he's got a chance with the bases loaded, 2 down, do some damage as the tying run is standing 180 feet away. First pitch to him from Bollinger. He swings, pops this high in the air. It's going to tail out of play as Durkee can do nothing but watch it go over the fence. He sticks his glove up half-heartedly as he was probably still about 50 feet away from that one. And he'll do the long jog back to his position. Count moves to 0-1.
And when I said Rock, when he was at the plate last at bat, I said he was second on the team in terms of RBI. Well, the 2 RBI single in the first inning put him in the lead, passing the man at the plate, Connor Aoki.
So Aoki looking to reclaim his lead. Watches the 0-1 bounce in the dirt. McCarthy blocks it and keeps the runners in their spots as the count's even at 1.
Aoki, the biggest power threat on the Riptide roster, leads the team with 4 home runs.
He's got a .325 average on the season as well, so he's not just a power threat. He can do it pretty much all at the plate. The 1-1 pitch lined shallow right field. Coming forward is Forte, and he makes the grab. So Bollinger walks the tightrope, loads the bases with 2 down, gets a looping line drive into the glove of Forte, and we'll head to the top half of the third inning. Score remains 5-3 in favor of the Saints. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for that. You're listening to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, the broadcast home of Arroyo Seco Baseball. So Thomas Lovano coming to the plate to lead things off here in the third inning for the Saints. He saw 2 pitches in the second inning, but then Allen was thrown out, getting picked off from first base. So he gets another chance here. He swings at the first pitch he sees, gets by him for strike 1. New pitcher in the game for the Riptide. That's Tanner King. King, the righty, wearing number 12, listed at 6'1", 180 out of Seward County Junior College. Gets another swing and a miss from Lovano as the count moves to 0-2.
King so far this season, 29 2/3 innings, a 5.46 ERA, but he has struck out 35 batters and only walked 4 in those 29 2/3.
0-2 breaking ball taken into left field as that gets between the shortstop and the third baseman. Lovano is standing on first base with a leadoff single, and for the second straight inning, the leadoff man is on board for the Saints. That'll bring up Pete Durkee, who had a 2 RBI double in his first at-bat. That was in the first inning. Durkee getting the start at first base today. The man out of Tennessee came in to fill a void left by another Tennessee player. That's Luke Lipsius, who had to leave due to an injury. He was a Tennessee first baseman who started the season with the Saints. As the first pitch to Durkee misses outside for ball 1. So with King coming into the game, that brings about the end of the day for Sartorius, who went 2 innings, gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, 2 of them were earned. He walked 1 and struck out 1. He exited the game with his team trailing 5-3. The Saints looking to add on to their lead here in the top of the third. As the 1-0 hits Durkee, he will toss his bat over and now his shin and elbow guards as he'll take his jog down to first base. And the first 2 men are aboard for the Saints here in the third. And this is probably the guy you want coming to the plate if you're the Saints. Talk about it every game. This man has a national championship under his belt. Out of Vanderbilt, he was on the roster of the team that won it all. Came to join the Saints right after. Put up some solid statistics so far this season for the Saints. Leads the team in average, but does not have nearly as many at-bats as Lovano, who's trailing him by only a few points. As the first pitch to him is high and outside for ball 1.
And he does have half of the at-bats of Thomas Lovano, but still batting .373 and 51 at-bats, so not bad by any means.
It's definitely not too small of a sample size. Gonzalez has shown consistency at the plate so far. Now the 1-0. King delivers. It finds the strike zone, and the count's even. We mentioned the Saints are the road team in this game. They got that 3 seed with a record of 20-17 in CCL play. Or excuse me, 20-17 overall, I should say. 18-17 in CCL play. The Riptide finished with a 23-12 record in CCL play, only 4 games behind the number 1 seed, Santa Barbara, who the winner of this game will go on to play tomorrow. So now King with a 1-1 count delivers. Gonzalez chops this one foul out of play down the right field line towards the parking lot and pool area as the count moves to 1-2.
The Riptide, they did take the season series they with a 4-3 record versus the Saints. Although the Saints were the victor in their last matchup, came on Tuesday the 16th down in Irvine. Saints picked up the victory 11-1.
Gonzalez fouls off the 1-2, stays alive. The Riptide started off hot against the Saints. I believe they picked up the first 3 of their 4 victories early in the season. The Saints bounced back and pretty much came close to evening the series. As Gonzalez swings through the breaking ball, he'll head back towards the dugout, and that's out number 1. That'll bring up Evan Russell, the left fielder from Tennessee, one of the 3 Tennessee guys in the lineup today.
Left fielder, number 8.
Pete Durkee at first, Evan Russell in left, and Christian Scott in center. Russell started the season with the Saints rough. He came in late. He and Durkee joined the team after Lipsius and Watari had to depart. First pitch to him misses for ball 1. Came in late, started rough. Made it to the CCL prospect game, one of the 8 guys selected. But since then, he's somewhat turned around his season. He's brought his average all the way up to 205 from 128 just 2 weeks ago. 1-0 to him. Finds the strike zone and counts even. A little bit of a breeze here at George Sparky Anderson Field. It's going from left to right field. The 1-1. Russell watches the slider go by for strike 2. And now he's in some trouble. The first 2 men got aboard for the Saints. Lovano had an 0-2 single to left field, and then Durkee got hit by a pitch. So Lovano standing over there at second base, Durkee on first. Now the 1-2 to Russell. King delivers. Breaking ball, chopped foul down the third base line. So Russell will do it again.
It wasn't foul by much. Just missed staying in the base path by a couple feet at most. That would have been at least 1 run, possibly 2, though Durkee not the greatest speed at first.
Lovano would have easily scored from second, though. And as you said, Durkee not the speediest guy on the team, probably would have been left at third base as Russell fouls this one out of play, stays alive once again. Action going on down there in the Riptide bullpen as another pitcher warming up. Can't quite tell who that is, although it looks to be Sean Higgins, the righty out of Columbia University. Riptide preparing for the worst here as the 1-2 from King is chopped high in the air into shallow left field. Coming forward is Ferguson. He will get underneath it and make the play for out number 2. So after the first 2 men reach, the next 2 men have been retired, and that'll bring up Thomas McCarthy, the catcher for the Saints. He singled in his first at-bat, and he's got a chance to add on to his day. Insurance run standing in scoring position. That's Lovano on second. Durkee on first. Tanner King seeming to settle down a little bit on the mound so far for the Riptide, as action in the Riptide bullpen has ceased. Pitcher that was warming up, Higgins, now just kind of standing there talking to his bullpen catcher. First pitch to McCarthy, fastball, misses high and outside for ball 1. McCarthy takes a second, adjusts his batting gloves, makes sure they're nice and tight, steps back into the box, and now he awaits the pitch. King delivers, breaking ball. That one finds the inside corner, and the count moves to even at 1. McCarthy taking time to get set once again. Now he's finally ready back into the box. King awaits his sign. The 1-1. Fastball misses high for ball 2. Count moves to 2-1 to the catcher for the Saints. And McCarthy not necessarily the best hitter statistics-wise on the team. He's had a solid season. He's hitting .271. But he's got a fantastic eye at the plate. He's walked 10 times in 59 plate appearances. As he watches the 2-1 miss for ball 3.
Just shy of a 400 on-base percentage, I believe, with his single back in the second. That probably pushed him over, so really good job at getting on base this season.
The 3-1. King takes something off of it, finds that upper part of the strike zone, and now it's a full count. King kind of has an interesting delivery. His release point is close to sidearm. It's kind of stuck in that 3/4 sidearm slot. And now he'll deliver the payoff pitch. That one finds the strike zone. McCarthy goes down looking. He looks for an explanation. Gets one that he doesn't necessarily like as he'll head back to the dugout. So after the first 2 men get on board, Tanner King strikes out 2 and gets a fly ball to left field to bring about the end of the top half of the 3rd inning. For the first time this game, the Saints do not bring a run across in this inning, so we'll head to the home half of the 3rd. The score remains 5-3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for that. You're listening to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, the broadcast home of Arroyo Seco Baseball. Andre Antone to lead things off for the Riptide here in the home half of the 3rd inning. His team trailing by 2 runs, 5-3 the score. Bollinger out there for his 3rd inning of work for the Saints. Delivers the first pitch, and it's chopped foul down the 3rd base line. Action going on down there in the Saints bullpen. Can't quite tell who it is warming up. Oh, one's a breaking ball chopped on the ground towards 3rd. Gets underneath the glove of Gonzalez, who had to make a little reach out there, stretch out there to try and grab it. It squeezed into the left field. That's going to be a base hit off the bat of Andre Antone. And the leadoff man is on board with a single.
Now batting, third baseman, number
In the Saints bullpen, it is a lefty. I can imagine it's possibly Eli Riekman, maybe Hayden Harris, two of the top lefties for the Saints this year.
I believe it is Riekman. First pitch blocked by McCarthy. Takes a little jog out from behind the plate to toss it back to Bollinger as the count moves to 0-1. Yes, that is Eli Riekman warming up for the Saints down there in the bullpen. He's been one of the best pitchers on the team. Him and Bollinger have shown prowess so far this summer as the 1-0 pretty close to in the dirt, but gets a swing out of Lipscomb. So the count's even at 1.
Now, Riekman came into the CCL season not having a college. He had attended Blinn College in Texas.
1-1 chopped on the ground towards third. Gonzalez makes a nice play to keep it in the infield, but that's about all he can do as he has to hold on to the ball, and back-to-back infield singles for the Riptide to get things going here. As the first two men are aboard once again, Antone standing on second, Lipscomb on first, and they'll bring up Daniel Jung.
And while Gonzalez unable to make the play or the throw on over to first, really good job, key play to keep it into the infield, because if that gets by him, that gets all the way down the line, possibly to the wall, and Antone could have easily come around to score.
And that's a nice flash of leather over there at third base, too. You know, he made it look fancy. Most of the time you hear people say, oh, he makes that play look easy. He made that play look really easy over there. And that was not an easy hop to read. It kind of bounced maybe a max of 10 feet in front of him as he just kind of waved his glove up, and ball ended up right in there. Now a timeout is called as it looks like the umpire's got something he needs to address. It looks like there's going to be a pitcher's change, and that is indeed what's going to happen. So that'll bring about the end of the day for Cade Bollinger, who's a little frustrated to be coming out of this ball game. He's going to have to hand the reins over to Eli Riekman, who, when we come back, will be on the mound. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. As play takes a timeout, so will we. You're listening to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, the broadcast home of Arroyo Seco Baseball. Eli Riekman done warming up on the mound as play will resume here. No one out in the home half of the third inning. Riptide down 2 runs, but they got 2 men on as Antone and Lipscomb stand on base. Antone on second, Lipscomb at first. That brings up Daniel Jung, the designated hitter. He'll be the first batter that Riekman will face. First pitch he throws, find the strike zone. Count moves to 0-1.
We were talking about Eli Riekman while he was warming up in the bullpen. So again, coming into the CCL season, not having a college, Blinn College, it's a 2-year school. And he pitched so well that not only did he get a Division I offer, he got an offer from Texas Tech, one of the top baseball programs in the nation. They made it to, I don't know if they made it all the way to the College World Series, but at least to a super regional this year.
So pretty fantastic CCL season as he bounces this one in the dirt past McCarthy. Both runners move up. Count moves to 2-1. And now there's 2 runners in scoring position. Riekman, although he's shown the ability to strike batters out, he's also shown that when he misses by a lot. And, you know, last Sunday he got the start. He was pitching to Jacob Wyeth. And Wyeth multiple times had to jump up out of his squat and kind of dive to make the plays. In that outing, though, he only gave up 1 run, gave up 6 hits in 4 innings of work. Now the 2-1 line towards Allen, who dives to make the play. Makes the grab. That's out number 2. Morgan Allen flashing the leather. Or excuse me, that's out number 1. First out of the inning made by that diving play. As it looks like there's going to be a pinch hitter in the game. Blake Evans will be exiting today's action here in the 3rd inning.
Now in the game to bat for number 15, Blake Evans, out of the University of Tennessee, Arlington. Number 2, Texas Arlington. Number 2, Connor Ah.
So now Connor Oob to the plate. Out of the University of Texas Arlington, the senior. He comes into the game to replace Evans. First pitch to him, misses outside for ball 1.
So Obi, UT Arlington, saw him this past season, and they played TCU a couple times, but has really struggled this CCL season. Worst batting average on the Riptide, batting 157 over the course of the summer.
Well, he was a consistent starter for most of the beginning of the year, and then, of course, his struggles at the plate brought about the end of that. Now he comes into this game, chance to tie it up, 2 runners in scoring position, as Obi fouls that one into the netting behind home plate, and count moves to 1-2.
It'll be interesting to see what the Riptide do with their defense. Obi is an outfielder, but he came in for Blake Evans, who was playing second base, and we'll see how they go about that once the inning ends.
1-2 fouled off out of play. Obi stays alive. It will be interesting to see what they do, because they now have a whole lot of outfielders in the game, although I believe Max Ferguson is listed as an infielder, so it's possible they'll just switch positions as Obi goes down swinging, and that is out number 2. And that'll bring up Carson Matthews, the shortstop. He singled in his last at-bat. That was last inning. Was stranded at third base, though. He's got 2 runners on and a chance to erase this lead that the Saints have.
And I can imagine how frustrated Obi has been this summer. Again, came into this game batting under 160, but in 49 games in the spring at UT Arlington, batted 354.
So he's coming off of a fantastic offensive season for his school. Comes the summer ball where you're supposed to be able to hone your skills and struggles at the plate. You can understand frustration there. The 0-1 to Matthews misses low inside for ball 1. Riekman, you mentioned, drew a whole lot of attention from college scouts throughout this season. He didn't have a college to go to next season until recently. Committed to Texas Tech. Misses with the 1-1. That's ball 2. This is a huge at-bat for the Riptide. They had bases loaded, 2 down last inning, a chance to tie the ball game up. Couldn't convert. Now it's 2 down, runners on second and third. As this one's lined into right center field. Going back to track it is Scott. He makes the running grab for out number 3. And we will head to the fourth inning. Score remains 5-3. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, the broadcast home of Arroyo Seco Baseball.
Top of the fourth inning here at Sparky Anderson Field at Cal Lutheran University. It's a 5-3 ball game in favor of the Saints. Christian Scott, Anthony Forte, and Morgan Allen. So 9-1-2 due up for the Saints. New pitcher on the mound for the Riptide, Sean Higgins, coming on in relief for Tanner King. And Scott is first pitch swing and fouls it off behind the first base dugout, and it's 0-1.
Scott singled in his last at-bat, had a 1-1 count. Came around to score on the 2 RBI single off the bat of Allen.
Higgins coming into this game, 23 innings pitched. That ball is chopped onto first base, fielded by Antone. He walks over, steps on first himself for the first out here in the fourth. So in 23 innings for Higgins, 7 earned runs. That's a 2.74 ERA. Struck out 21 batters, walked 3, and has surrendered 24 hits.
And with Higgins coming into the game, that brings about the end of the day for King, who only went that 1 inning, gave up a hit, and K'd 2.
First pitch to Anthony Forte is fouled off. Small lead at first. Callie fouling that one off, well out of play, and it's a full count. Allen will be on the move. Payoff pitch, ground ball kicked by Higgins, and that ball bounces into left field. And Morgan Allen able to advance all the way around second to third base. A weird little play. And it's now runners on the corners with 2 outs.
And you understand Higgins trying to help his defense out there by trying to throw his foot at the ball, come in contact, maybe knock it down, but it actually probably would have ended up working out better for him if he let it go. As his middle infield, Matthews and Ferguson, were kind of shading towards second base anyways. They might have been able to get to that ball.
It kicked off like his foot or maybe his ankle into the 5-6 hole. And again, with Allen off on the pitch, was able to get all the way around to third.
Now the coaching staff for the Riptide just want to make sure he's okay.
And Clemente Bonilla out there making sure that Higgins is good to continue. Ball was square from Cali, and so. And not sure which foot it hit off, but it's either his dry foot or his plant foot, really. As a
Right foot. Because he kind of swung his back foot out after he finished his motion. Even still, you got a lot of power being generated by that leg. You never want that one to be in jeopardy. They only need one pitch, though, to determine he was good to go.
So that brings up Thomas Lovano for the Saints, the guy who they absolutely love in this situation. First pitch, fastball misses inside. Lovano, 1 for 2 on the evening, reached on an error in the first and then singled his second plate appearance. Another fastball that misses inside, and it's 2-0. Takes a big hack at the 2-0 pitch and fouls it off. Lovano second on the team in RBIs. He has 24 on the season, just one behind Andy Garriola, but with Garriola no longer on the team with a sprained wrist.
I believe it was a sprained wrist.
Lovano would love to add to his RBI total here. Another big hack comes up empty on that one. And there are 2 on, 2 out, and a 2-2 count here to Thomas Lovano.
Lovano's 1 for 2 on the day, singled in the third and reached on an error in the first inning. Came around to score in the first, was left on second, though, in the third.
Slider catches it, and that is the final out here in the fourth. The Saints threaten with a couple base runners, but can't bring anyone home, and we head to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Saints lead 5-3. Bottom of the fourth inning, Michael Peabody leading things off for the Riptide. Riekman back on the mound for the Saints. First pitch of the inning is fouled off, grounder down the right field line. The 0-1 to Peabody. Slider that catches the zone, and it's 0-2.
Peabody having a solid day so far. 1 for 1 on the day because his last at-bat was a sac fly. Brought home a run in the second inning. singled in the first, came around to score. That was one of the first 3 hits of the game that all came in order to lead things off for the Riptide.
1-2 to Peabody. He skies that one to Morgan Allen at second base. Takes about a step onto the outfield grass. He makes the squeeze on it, and there's 1 out.
Now batting, left fielder, number 3, Max Ferguson.
So Max Ferguson, now second baseman
I was going to say,
for the Riptide.
it was funny to hear the PA guy say left fielder just because of all the scrambling we did to figure out where he ended up going.
First pitch slider is in there for a called strike 1. And one thing that makes Riekman so good is now that we can see the miles per hour on the scoreboard. So that one misses wide. It's 1-1. His sliders come in the low 70s, high 60s, and his fastball can come in, and that one was 88 miles an hour. So a big speed difference can really catch the hitters off balance.
And, you know, I'm sure as he gets further into his college career, they're going to want him to bring the velocity up on those off speed just a little bit, just so it's not necessarily a tell by the way you see the ball moving right out of his hand. But like you said, that speed difference can make it really challenging on young college hitters to try and figure out what pitch is coming.
Another 1-2 delivery slider, check swing, but Ferguson does not go around, and it's kind of evened up at 2. And another pitcher, great pitcher in the major leagues, no longer plays, but he's a Hall of Famer. Trevor Hoffman was one of those guys. As that one just misses outside, and it's a full count. So Trevor Hoffman, known for his changeup, come in mid-low 70s, and then could throw a fastball in at 93 past the guy. And that fastball misses low and inside. Ferguson working his second walk of the ballgame.
Now batting,
And, you know, I should backtrack a little bit here. It's not necessarily set in stone they're going to ask him to change the velo on those off-speed pitches. It depends on whether or not he's able to locate them with precision. If he's able to have a pinpoint accuracy with it, you know, paint the corners with them and basically, you know, do that drill in your backyard where you find a brick and you want to hit a certain spot of the brick with it, you can do that. But if his off-speed remains kind of a little bit wild, they're probably going to want him to deliver a little bit more velocity.
And one thing I could imagine they might ask him to do is develop a changeup. We see a lot of just fastballs and sliders from Riekman, and once you are getting into those higher levels, that changeup can really be an effective pitch. Runner goes, ball's in the dirt, and McCarthy decides to just hold on to the ball. Ferguson steals second base.
Allen was a little bit late getting over there to cover second base. Part of the reason why McCarthy decided just to eat that one. He definitely had enough time to come up and make the throw down. Would have definitely been a close play. But Allen not expecting the steal on a left-handed pitcher.
2-0 pitch to Rock. That fastball catches the low and outside corner, and it's 2-1. It's a 5-3 ball game. The Saints lead here in the bottom of the 4th. Fly ball into right field. Forte tracking back. He's under it and makes the catch. Ferguson is on his way to third. He'll be in there standing. So 2 outs, but now a man on third for the Riptide.
And that's a huge stolen base now because with him standing on second base, that fly ball to right field means he could advance. It would have been tough for him to advance to second base on that fly ball because of the close proximity to right field. But instead, he's running from second to third away from the baseball. Makes it easier to advance. Now he's 90 feet away from scoring and making this a one-run ball game.
And that's especially big because you mentioned it in the last inning. Riekman, sometimes when he misses, he can miss quite wide. And if a ball gets past McCarthy, it's not the tying run, but it would bring the Riptide to within 1. Connor Aoki at the plate. One of the team leaders for the Riptide in batting average. Leads the team in home runs and is also second on the team in RBI.
Well, he's had a tough game so far with runners in scoring position. 0 for 2 on the day. He had the bases loaded in the second and a runner on second in the first. The first inning, he grounded out to third, and in the second inning, he flew out to right field. Now he's got another chance with a runner on third base. 0 for 2 for the day.
Fastball just misses low, and that out that he had in the second inning, the bases were loaded, I believe, or there were runners on second and third, and it was a sinking line drive into right field, but Forte was able to race in and make the catch. And that if that ball drops, it's a tie game. 2-1 fastball misses high and outside, and it's 3-1.
This is where Riekman needs to get his control, get his bearings, because you can't let this guy get away from you. Antone singled in his last at-bat. He's been starting to feel himself late in the season for the Riptide.
Well, there are a couple bases open. You don't want to put the tying run on base, but that's exactly what happens is that one misses low for ball 4.
So runners on the corners, both of them reached via the walk.
Now batting, first baseman, number 30, Andre Antone.
And this is a big man coming to the plate.
Quite big indeed. Antone stands at 6'5", 225 pounds. Fly ball into center field. Christian Scott racing in, but it will call off Cowley and makes the running grab for the final out of the inning. So a couple innings in a row, the Saints able to tightrope out of danger. And we head now to the 5th inning. Again, the Saints lead 5-3. You're listening to the Saints on YouTube Live, your broadcast home for Arroyo Seco baseball. Back for the top of the 5th inning, Pete Durkee, the one to lead things off for the Saints. Sean Higgins back out on the mound for the Riptide. First pitch swinging, and it's fouled off out of play over the first base dugout.
Durkee 1 for 1 on the day. He's reached base twice. Had that 2 RBI double in the first and then hit by a pitch in the third inning.
Fouls that one off behind on the netting behind home plate. It's a quick 0-2 count to start the inning. Oh, 2 pitch. Tries to get Durkee chasing on the high fastball, but he holds up on the swing, and it's 1-2. After an exciting start to this ball game, all 8 runs being scored in the first 2 innings. We've had 2 quiet innings since then.
The Riptide have threatened in both of them, but haven't been able to bring home any runs. They also threatened in the second inning and only got 1 out of that exchange.
2-2 to Durkee. Gets him swinging for the first out of the inning. A good outside fastball from Higgins.
And you know, the Saints have also threatened in the third and the fourth inning. Despite not bringing home any runs in those 2 innings, they've had 2 runners on in both of them. They had first and second in the third, and then runners on the corners last inning. They didn't get any runners on until 2 down in the fourth, though, so it's never too late in an inning for this Saints offense to catch fire.
Jason Gonzalez in the box for the Saints. First pitch swinging, chops it to third. Lipscomb grabs it, throws on to first, but not in time. Almost a wide throw, but Antone is able to keep it in front of the base, and Gonzalez picks himself up an infield single.
Well, we saw a chopper, I believe it was off the bat of Lipscomb over there to Gonzalez, and Gonzalez had to stay back, try and play it off the bounce. Couldn't get it off in time to get Lipscomb at first. That time, we saw Gonzalez, do it to Lipscomb by himself.
So Evan Russell, the man to face Higgins now for the Saints. That changeup misses inside. Russell 0 for 2, has flown out twice here in the ball game. Chopper to third, Lipscomb fields it, throws it on to second. Ferguson on to first, not in time for the double play. Russell will reach on the fielder's choice.
And that was kind of a slow release from Lipscomb over there at third. He took his time making sure that Ferguson over there at second base got over to the bag to cover. And by the time Ferguson had the ball at second, it was too late for him to be able to transition and get the guy over at first. So Russell standing on base with the fielder's choice. Once again, now 2 down with the runner on. Thomas McCarthy comes to the plate.
McCarthy 1 for 2, singled in his first at-bat, and then struck out looking in his previous plate appearance. What was a call that he didn't quite agree with. First pitch swinging, and he fouls that one out over the first base dugout.
It's not too shocking to see the offensive explosion that we saw early in this game. A total of 8 runs scored in the first 2 innings. That usually happens in single elimination games like this. You see it at the professional level in wild card games. Those are usually either 1-0 games or 11-10 games, because guys are so hyped up, so ready to go, want to make sure they make their mark. They come out and start hitting quickly, and both teams did that. The Saints did it just a little bit better in the first few innings as they're up 5-3.
And teams, they tend to come out swinging, and then usually as the ball game gets longer, the pitchers start to adjust a bit. Slider misses inside, almost hits McCarthy, but he turns out of the way of that one, and it's 1-1. Another breaking pitch that misses inside. 2-1 the count to McCarthy. Two-one pitch. Another one inside. This one a fastball. It's 3-1. The count. 3-1 is the count.
We mentioned McCarthy has a fantastic understanding of where the strike zone is. Drawn a whole lot of walks so far this season. That probably stems from the fact that he's a catcher.
Chops that one to shortstop. Gets past Carson Matthews, who tried to pick that one. Russell advancing all the way to third, and on the throw, McCarthy, smart base running, moves up to second base.
It'll be interesting to see the ruling on that one. I believe they're going to give him a single. No, they gave him the error?
They gave it an error.
They gave him the error. I was going to say that was a fairly routine chopper over there at shortstop. And Matthews tried to field it in an Olay kind of fashion. Had his glove out to the side and kind of swung his arm up as the ball bounced up. I can hear my coaches from my time playing screaming at me now. Got to get in front of that one. Matthews lets it get by into center field, so now runner's in scoring position.
And Matthews trying to pick it on the hop. Kind of turned his head away as he scooped his glove and came up with nothing but air. So 1-0 out of Christian Scott, who's 1 for 2. Takes a big hack, comes up empty.
You mentioned Scott 1 for 2. He had a single in the second, but grounded out weakly to first base in the fourth inning.
The 1-1 pitch, fastball just misses outside. So 2-1 count now to Christian Scott. Higgins finally gets his sign, delivers the pitch. Another fastball that misses outside, and it's 3-1. And you don't have to lay one into Christian Scott. First base is open, but on deck is Anthony Forte, one of the Saints' top hitters. Another fastball that misses outside, and Scott works the 2-out walk. Bases loaded now for Anthony Forte.
And in the top half of this fifth inning, we have now officially hit the 2-hour mark of this ball game, 6:35 p.m. Just about halfway through the ball game.
Visit on the mound. Talk things over with Higgins, who has struggled with his command here in the last couple innings.
I can imagine this visit is just to reassure his pitcher out there on the mound, let him know he's confident he can throw strikes, so he should be too.
No, I thought the home plate umpire was going out to break up. Okay, there it is. I thought he was going to go talk to the umpire at second base, but says, hey, this meeting's gone on long enough. So everyone's returning to their positions. Not sure what the umpire was signaling.
I think he was telling them to cut the music, but who knows?
So we will now resume action. Anthony Forte has a bat on his shoulders. He's ready. 0 for 3 on the evening. Fouls the first pitch off over the Saints dugout down the third base line. Forte had come into this game batting .306, but again 0 for 3. It's dropped him below 300. Lines that one into the right center gap. That'll get down all the way to the wall. And with Christian Scott good speed on first, he'll come all the way around from first base. And Anthony Forte, a bases clearing 2-out double, extends the Saints lead to 5, and it's an 8-3 lead.
Now, you always hate to bury a player a little bit, but this stems all the way back to that error made by Matthews at shortstop. That could have been out number 3. He failed to make the out. McCarthy reached base. Then Scott got on with the walk. And now 3 unearned runs come home, and that's 3 more. So the Saints have 6 unearned runs of their 8.
Morgan Allen, first pitch swing, chops it foul into the Saints dugout. So runner on second, 2 outs. Slider catches the zone, and it's 0-2. So you mentioned 6 of the 8 runs for the Saints have been unearned, and that's been the key because Orange County, they've scored 3 runs. And so if the Riptide are able to play clean defense, it's a 3-2 Riptide lead.
Errors always come back to bite you. Errors and leadoff walks. Those are 2 things you're guaranteed to hear about if you play even a season of baseball.
1-2 to Morgan Allen. Higgins delivers. Ground ball to third base, backhanded by Matthews. The long throw onto first is not in time. Allen with good speed beats the throw by about a half a step. And it's runners on the corners with 2 outs.
And that's a tough play for Matthews to make. He has to throw across his body as the ball between third and short. Made the throw, but just not in time.
And another visit to the mound means it is the end of Higgins' afternoon.
That'll bring in Tyler Booth.
And we'll take a quick timeout. When we get back, we'll tell you a bit more about Booth and then resume action here in the 5th. Saints lead 8-3. You're listening to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, your broadcast home for Arroyo Seco Baseball. We resume action here in the top of the 5th. Tyler Booth taking the mound for the Riptide in relief of Sean Higgins. Booth has pitched 33 innings. allowed 13 runs. Pickoff, actually, Morgan Allen. They have him in a rundown. They will not be able to get him out before Forte comes home to cross the plate. And so, home plate umpire emphatically telling the guys in the press box behind home plate, count that as a run. And so Morgan Allen picked off for the second time in this ball game, but is able to stay in the rundown long enough for Forte to cross home plate, and it is now a 9-3 Saints lead. We head to the bottom half of the fifth. Again, Saints lead 9-3. Bottom half of the fifth inning, the Saints in the top half put 4 more runs on the board. They lead 9-3. Lipscomb first pitch swinging, grounds it through the 5-6 hole for a leadoff base hit.
And once again, all 4 of those runs that came over to score unearned. So the total of unearned runs, 7 for the Saints. 7 of their 9 have come home. And once again, you pointed it out last half inning. If the Riptide play clean defense all game long, the score right now is 3-2 in favor of Orange County.
First pitch into Daniel Jung is a slider that misses for ball 1. Jung 0 for 1 has walked and also lined out. Pops that one into the infield. Durkee calls everyone off, reaches up and makes the grab for the first out.
And Durkee making everyone a little bit nervous, not putting that glove in the air until the very last second. Makes the play, though, makes it look clean. We did see, however, last Sunday, he dropped one of those in foul territory. So possibly a little bit of a flashback in his head, but he made the play.
Connor Obi in the box for his second plate appearance. He pinch hit for Blake Evans earlier in the game. Now, Pete Durkee, I was thinking there's a chance he might have just let that one drop. Jung was not running down the line as that ball is lined foul past the Saints bullpen all the way down the left field line. So Jung wasn't really running down the line, and Durkee, if he lets that drop, possible chance for a double play.
Yeah, especially because they never made the infield fly.
Chopper over to third base, but in foul territory.
I feel like that one, if Durkee let it drop and the Saints got the double play, that one would have been on the umpires for not making an infield fly call because that ball was high enough and it stayed in the infield.
Infield fly, there's got to be 2 runners on.
Oh, that's true. That's true. My mistake.
Oh, 2 pitch is a fastball that misses high. Now, what they could have called if Durkee had caught it and then let the ball drop, the umpires would have called that as just a regular pop out. Ground ball to short, fielded by Cowley. On to Allen at second. Throw on to first. In time, the Saints roll two to end the inning. A 6-4-3 double play. And with that, we prepare to head to the 6th inning. And that'll actually do it for Matt and I on the broadcast. We will hand the headsets over to Jack Steele and Nicolette Rojo for the remainder of the game. And as we take the break, Saints lead 9-3.
And welcome back here since we brought all 4 of our broadcasting crew here. Mitch and Matt have stepped out, so my name is Nicola Rojo alongside Jack Steele, and I'm just doing a quick introduction as he gets set. He will be calling play-by-play. Meanwhile, I will be providing color commentary here. If you're just joining us, Saints are up 9-3 in the top half of the 6th inning. And Tyler Booth is back on. And my partner, Jack Steele, is here. Take
Hello,
it away.
Nicolette. Thank you.
Take it away.
And currently 1-1 to Drew Cowley as Drew Cowley fouls that back. The count will go to 1-2. Saints coming off a 4-run inning back in the 5th inning, thanks to a 3 RBI double from Anthony Forte. As Drew Cowley fouls this back, the count will remain 1-2. Lefty on lefty matchup. Shakes off the pitch, and the 1-2 to Cowley misses away for ball 2. The count will now run even at 2-2.
Yeah, lefty-lefty matchups are always difficult, especially for the batter, since the delivery for the pitcher is way different compared to a right-handed one.
Drew Cowley drills this to right field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. And Cowley leads things off with a base hit here in the top of the 6th.
That was a good piece of hitting by Cowley right there, as that ball got the inside part of the plate, as you mentioned, the lefty-lefty matchup, and it stayed up long enough for Cowley to gather himself and step into it, just enough to get in front of the right fielder, Rock.
Now stepping into the batter's box for the Saints will be their designated hitter, Thomas Luvano. First pitch to Luvano misses high and away for ball 1. One 0 pitch is swung on and fouled back. Luvano thus far is 1 for 2. Or 1 for 3 rather. Reached on an error back in the 1st. picked up a single to left in the third inning and then struck out looking in the fourth. The count is 1-1 to Luvano, and the pitch is swung on and missed. The count will now be 1-2.
And coming into today's action, Tyler Booth has struck out 28 batters in 33 innings thus far during the season. So he has shown to be effective on the strikeout category.
1-2 pitch from Booth. Seems to be a breaking ball that misses high. So the count will run even, 2-2. No outs here in the top of the sixth. The Saints are leading 9-3. Man on first. And the 2-2 pitch from Booth misses high for ball 3. And the count is now full. Saints, a part of the CCL playoffs. First game of the CCL playoffs. As that ball misses outside for ball 4, Luvano will jog over to first base, and the Saints have a man on first and a man on second with no outs. But like I said, the Saints in CCL playoffs, the first time they've been in the playoffs since joining the CCL, so definitely a very exciting time for everyone that's a part of the Saints organization.
Absolutely, and they've had a long history and a good one as well, and this is their third season in the California Collegiate League. So, as you mentioned, very exciting to make it into the postseason, and so far they're doing a good job against their fellow rival, the OC Riptide.
Yeah, they definitely have opened this game up a little bit and currently have a 6-run lead. So it's all about maintaining and trying to get some more insurance runs as Pete Durkee fouls that one back. The count is currently 1-1 to Durkee. Durkee this far is 1 for 2. Doubled, had a 2 RBI double in the first inning. Got hit by a pitch back in the third and then struck out in the fifth. That pitch misses high for ball 2. The count is 2-1 to Durkee.
And the winner of this matchup will advance to the first, quote-unquote, first round. Tomorrow's action back here at 4:30. We'll face the Santa Barbara Foresters.
As Durkee pops this up, Aoki gets under it and makes the catch. So that'll be the first out here in the top of the sixth. And now coming to the plate for the Saints will be the third baseman, Jason Gonzalez.
Now batting, third baseman, number 16, Jason Gonzalez.
I like what I've seen from the Saints overall the games thus far. As coming into playoffs, it was questionable, as had a lot of injuries, lost a lot of key players and big bats. And when that happens, as a team, you have to step up in other varieties of categories, pitching, hitting, et cetera, et cetera. It's a team game, and thus far they're doing a good job there, not letting the injuries get to them. Yes, it's summer ball, but of course, who doesn't like competition?
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like although we've suffered some injuries and some players have left, there's still a lot of great hitters that are in the Saints lineup. And I mean, an example of that is the man at the plate right now, Jason Gonzalez. He's had a great summer season, even though coming in late. I mean, the time that he's been a part of the Saints, he's been really good. So he's got an opportunity to pick up another run for the Saints with Drew Cowley at second. Thomas Uvano is at first. The count is 1-1 to Gonzalez. And the pitch from Booth is breaking ball that misses high and away. 2-1 now. Booth gets set, checks over at Drew Kelly at second, comes back to the plate, and the pitch fouled back by Jason Gonzalez. The count will run even at 2-2. One out here in the top of the sixth. Man on first, man on second. One out. 2-2 count to Gonzalez. And the pitch is swung on and drilled to short. Coming up with his Matthews, toss over to second to first. And that'll be a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. So the Saints pick up one hit, no runs, and we'll head to the bottom of the sixth. The score will remain 9-3 in favor of the Saints. You are listening to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, the home of Arroyo Seco Baseball. And welcome back. We are headed to the bottom of the sixth here at California Lutheran University, the home of Cal Lutheran baseball team. Remaining on the mound for the Saints will be Riekman. He came on back in the bottom of the third for the Saints. Came in relief of Cade Bollinger, and he's done a nice job thus far. Hasn't allowed a run since he's been pitching. So he'll look to continue to do the same here in the bottom of the sixth. Leading things off for the Riptide will be the shortstop Carson Matthews. He flew out to center back in the third inning. The count is currently 2-0 to Matthews. 2-1 pitch is in there for a strike. Count is now 2-1. 2-1 pitch misses outside. So Matthews will be in a good hitter's count here at 3-1. And Riekman is in a spot where he needs to throw a strike. The 3-1 pitch from Riekman misses low and away. And that'll be ball four. So Matthews will get a free pass to first. And that'll lead things off for the Riptide here in the bottom of the sixth. And coming up now for the Riptide will be their leadoff man, Michael Peabody.
One thing I've noticed about Riekman all season long was even though he falls behind a lot, he knows how to stay composed and get himself back into the count. And if he does that again, continues to do that, he will be successful, not only, of course, as a team, but he shows why he is the recent Texas Tech commit.
That's a pop-up from Peabody. Tracking it down and getting under it is McCarthy. He'll make the catch for the first out here in the bottom of the sixth.
Those are always difficult plays for, as a catcher, even though this time there's not really a lot of sun blocking her. It's easy to lose track, and even though, like I've said, there's not much damage won't be done, they're basically, essentially, they're so, I like to compare those plays to like a layup in basketball, where they're second nature, but in that they should be made, but it's not necessarily a loss if you don't make it, if you don't catch or make the basket, catch in this case.
Well, I think the most difficult part about that kind of play for a catcher is when the ball goes up, you take off your mask, and then it's all about tracking the ball, finding where the ball is, and then once you're able to track it down, it's just getting under it and making the grab. But I think the initial part of that is probably the most difficult. Currently batting now for the Riptide is their left fielder, Max Ferguson. The count is currently 3-0 to Ferguson. So Riekman falls behind here in the count and is in a position where he'll need to throw a strike. And he does so. So the count will be 3-1. Ferguson, thus far, is 1 for 1. Had a single to right field back in the first inning, and then got hit by a pitch in the second, and then walked in the fourth as he drills this to deep right field, going back his forte, and that ball is over the wall. And that's a home run for Ferguson, a 2-run shot. And the score is now 9-5 in favor of the Saints. So the Riptide staying alive here and kind of making an answer to what the Saints have done.
Now batting, right fielder number 22, Dylan.
That's just good piece of hitting by Ferguson. Not the best pitch from Riekman, as the location got too much of the middle of the plate, and there wasn't a lot of hang time, there actually was quite a few amount of hang time, so that gives the hitters, the batter, some time to collect himself, and he got most of the barrel. And the pitch was a fastball as well, so you have good power plus a speedy pitch. That ball's going to be out of there.
Now stepping up to the plate for the Riptide will be their right fielder, Dylan Rock, as he takes that pitch for a ball. The count is currently 2-0 to Rock. Rock thus far is 1 for 2, had a 2 RBI double back in the first, walked in the second, and then flew out in the fourth. The count is currently 3-0. The 3-0 pitch is in there for a strike. Riekman has struggled to find the strike zone in the previous at-bats, as that ball is swung on and fouled towards the third base dugout. So the count will run full here, but like you said earlier, I mean, Riekman fell down in the 3-0 count and then some way was able to throw 2 straight strikes and get the count full here. The full count pitch is swung on and hit to right field, but in foul ground. Forte unable to get it as it goes over the fence. So the count will remain 3-2, and we'll do it again.
Doesn't look like there's also no one really warming up in the bullpen as well for the Saints.
And that pitch is high and away, so Dylan Rock will draw the walk with 1 out. And coming to the plate now for the Riptide will be the catcher, Connor Aoki.
Now batting, catcher number 19, Connor Aoki.
Little pitching visit here Cody Walker will head to the mound here for the Saints.
And they're probably just going to try to settle Riekman down. I mean, he's kind of had a tough time getting ahead of batters, finding the strike zone consistently. So probably just try to settle him down.
And the fact that he brought the whole entire infield and also situational baseball as well. You have one on board, which means easy double play, potential double play action here. So, and with a good hitter, contact hitter at bat, with Connor Aoki up to bat, you definitely want to be careful with this one right here. You don't want to lose him.
I mean, with a man on first, you probably want to pitch low to Aoki. You know, you got one out. You're probably pitching to get the double play ball in this type of situation. As that first pitch misses for ball one, it'll be 1-0 to Aoki. That 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball that's in there for a strike. The count is 1-1. One out here in the bottom of the sixth. 2 runs have scored thanks to a 2-run home run from Max Ferguson. One out, there's a man on, and he's going. And this is drilled to center field. Going back is Christian Scott. He'll get under it and make the catch. So there will be 2 outs here in the bottom of the sixth. Dylan Rock will get back to first base.
Good job by Christian Scott. They're tracking that ball, and several broadcasts we've talked about the emphasis of the center fielder, essentially the captain of the outfield, and it's important to have a very speedy guy over at center, and Scott has shown the speed throughout his good speed throughout the season, both on defense and on the bases.
Yeah, it seems as though Christian Scott has been the day-to-day center fielder for the Saints this season, and he's done a great job there. So again, showing his abilities and getting the job done out there in center field. Currently batting now for the Riptide is their first baseman, Andre Antone. The count is 2-0 to Antone. That 2-0 pitch is drilled to left field. Coming over and making the grab is Evan Russell on a slide. Great play by Evan Russell. So that'll end the inning, and we'll head to the top of the 7th. The Riptide pick up 2 runs on a 2-run homer, and the score is now 9-5 in favor of the Saints as we head to the top of the 7th. You are listening to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, the home of Arroyo Seco Baseball.
Okay.
And welcome back, viewers. We are headed to the top of the 7th here at Cal Lutheran University. The score is currently 9-5 in favor of the Saints. Leading things off here in the top of the 7th will be the Saints left fielder Evan Russell, who made a great sliding grab to end the bottom of the 6th. So he's doing it on the field, and let's see if he can do it with the bat. He is currently 0 for 3 on the day, so I'm sure he was looking to get a base hit, but he just got hit in the hand, it appears like, on that pitch from the new Riptide pitcher, actually, Noah Walker. So Evan Russell will walk down to first after getting hit on the hand. But the new pitcher for the Riptide is Noah Walker, a right-hander from Texas State University. Walker stands in at 6'4", 200, so pretty decent size there on the mound. So the Saints will start things off with a hit by pitch. And now coming to the plate will be the catcher, Thomas McCarthy, as he takes that first pitch in the dirt for ball 1.
And Walker on the year has gone 19-6 innings during regular season play and has only given up 7 earned runs. So he has shown. He's definitely shown that he's hard to score off of.
That 1-0 pitch misses in the dirt again for ball 2. So it'll be 2-0 to the catcher McCarthy. Two-0 pitch is in there for a strike. 2-1. Score is currently 9-5 in favor of the Saints. The Riptide added a few more runs back in the bottom of the 6th thanks to a 2-run homer. Russell is going, throw down to second, and they got him. So Russell will be caught stealing for the first out here in the top of the 7th.
Not a bad jump, a little bit too late, but also give credit to Connor Aoki behind the plate with just an excellent throw over at second base and a good tag as well from Carson Matthews.
That 3-1 pitch is swung fouled back. So the count will be full for Thomas McCarthy first. And there will be a man on first. Saints will be the center fielder, Christian Scott. Scott singled to center field back in the 2nd inning. Ended up scoring a run in that 2nd inning as well. Grounded out to first in the 4th and walked in the 5th. So he is 1 for 2 thus far. Scott fouls that first pitch back, so the count will be 0-1.
No one warming up for the the Orange County Riptide bullpen. And for the Saints, it looks like Hayden Harris is warming up.
That 0-1 pitch misses for ball 1. So the count will be 1-1 to Scott. And the 1-1 pitch in there for a strike. The count is now 1-2.
Sun's starting to set now. 7:18 p.m. Live from Thousand Oaks, California Lutheran University.
That pitch misses low and inside in the dirt. Count is now 2-2. And I'm looking around. Do they have lights here?
No.
They don't, so first and a man on second here with one out. And coming to the plate for the Saints will be the right fielder, Anthony Forte. In his most previous at-bat, Forte doubled off the wall in center for 3 RBIs back in the 5th inning. And that kind of broke the game open a little bit during that time. As that first pitch is swung on and fouled over the third base dugout. Forte is currently 1 for 4 on the day. That one hit being that double.
And Forte blew by that fastball in there. Had some late action movement at the last microsecond.
So the count will be 0-2 to Forte. Forte falls into a bit of a hole here at 0-2. 0-2 pitch is swung on and fouled back. Good job by Forte to stay alive here. That misses 7th. 2 on, man on first, man on second. Forte at the plate. 1-2 pitch for it is Peabody. That'll get over his head and to the wall around Scott. And that'll be a 2 RBI double for Anthony Forte. And the score is now 11-5 in favor of the Saints.
Excellent piece of hitting once again from Forte, as good hitters count. Fastball got a little, didn't have much action going there. It's actually a breaking ball, didn't have much action. Stayed on top of, got most of the part of the plate. And Forte, good power hitter, was able to hit that at the center, the right center field gap.
And that was kind of a replica of Forte's double back in the 5th inning. As Morgan Allen swings at this one up the middle. Getting to it is Matthews and throws on to first. So Morgan Allen will be retired. But going back to Forte, he has 5 RBIs thus far in this game. 5 of the 11 runs for the Saints have been produced from Anthony Forte. So have a day, Forte. And on that hit from Morgan Allen, Forte will advance to third. So a man on third here with 2 outs, and the batter is currently Drew Cowley. So he swings at that one and fouls it back. The count will be 0-1. That 0-1 pitch misses low, so the count will be 1-1. One pitch from Walker, swung on and slapped down the third base line and into left field, going back to the wall. Forte will score easily from third. And Drew Cowley will have a stand-up double. So the score will now be 12-5 in favor of the Saints Saints pick up 3 runs here in the top of the 7th and answer to that 2-run bottom of the 6th for the Riptide.
Again, Saints are showing why they continue to be hot all season long with these specific 3 and 4 spots right here. Forte with the 2-run double, and followed by Cali with the RBI double, back to back. In between, obviously Allen's ground out. Good hitting, good piece of hitting thus far. Once again for the Saints.
And stepping up to the plate for the Saints will be Thomas Luvano. Walked back in the 6th inning. And Luvano's got an opportunity to tack on another run for the Saints with Drew Cowley at second in scoring position. The pitch to Luvano is swung on and hit to center field. Getting under it and making the catch is Peabody. So that'll be the final out here in the top of the 7th. So we'll head to the bottom of the 7th, but not before the Saints pick up 3 runs and tack on to their lead. The score is now 12-5 in favor of the Saints. You're listening to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, the home of Arroyo Seco Baseball. And welcome back. We are headed to the bottom of the 7th here at George Anderson Field. There's a new pitcher on the mound for the Saints. It'll be Isaiah Ramos. And stepping into the box now for the Riptide will be Trey Lipscomb. Isaiah Ramos taking over for Eli Riekman. That 1-0 pitch is swung on and fouled back by Lipscomb. The count will be 1-1.
In the final line for Riekman, he's gone 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, walked 3 batters, and struck out 1.
That 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed. The count will be 1-2. That 1-2 pitch misses low. Count will be even at 2-2. 2-2 pitch from Ramos, swung on and slapped foul down the first base line. And one thing about Ramos is he moves quickly on the mound. I mean, he gets his sign and he's ready to go. That pitch is drilled to short, coming up with it and making the throw in time is Drew Cowley. So Lipscomb will be retired for the first out here in the bottom of the 7th. And it appears as though the Riptide have a pinch hitter for their designated hitter, Daniel Jung. it'll be Joshua Solomon coming in to replace Daniel Jung. So Solomon will have his first at bat here in the bottom of the 7th.
Columbia University, number 4, Joshua Solomon.
Solomon out of Columbia University.
Played 31 games, has hit 232 with 1 home run, 4 runs batted, walked 15 times, and is 2 for 6 in stolen bases.
That first pitch is swung on and missed by Solomon. The count will be 0-1. The 0-1 on its way. Slap towards short. Coming up with it. Throw on to first and getting him is Drew Cowley. So Drew Cowley getting in some work there at shortstop. And he'll retire the second batter here in the bottom of the 7th. There will be 2 outs. And coming up to the plate now for the Riptide will be Connor Obie. And Obie pinch hit for Blake Evans back in the 3rd inning.
And it looks to appear, actually, they decided to go with another pinch hitter. Looks like it.
Oh, yeah.
And number 1 will step in. That's Antonio Cruz out of Rice University.
And not a bad move. I mean, Connor Obie, I was just going to say, he struck out and grounded into a double play. So since they brought him in, he hasn't been that great at the plate. That 1-1 pitch is swung on and missed. The count is currently 1-2 to Cruz. And this pitch is swung on, and it's going to be a high fly ball to right field. Getting under it and making the grab is Anthony Forte. And that'll be the final out here in the bottom of the 7th. So the Riptide 3 up and 3 down. And the score will remain 12-5 as we head to the top of the 8th. You are listening to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, the home of Arroyo Seco Baseball. And welcome back. We are headed to the top of the 8th. And there's a new pitcher on the mound for the Riptide. It'll be Ryan Sublet from Texas Tech. He'll replace Noah Walker, who came on back in the 7th inning. Leading things off for the Saints here in the top of the 8th will be the first baseman, Pete Durkee.
The final line for Noah Walker. It's gone 1 the 3rd inning. Gave up 2 hits, 3 runs all earned. Walked 4, struck out none. As it looks like there's a little bit of a delay as a coach on the sideline, by their dugout was talking.
I think there may have been some defensive substitutions that the coach was telling the umpire about. But I think we're all clear and ready to get this top of the 8th underway. And we are running out of time here at George Anderson Field because this field does not have any lights. The only light is the sun, and the sun is on its way down. So we don't know how much time we'll have of sunlight, and we don't know if we'll be able to finish this game in time. Hopefully, we'll be able to. There's only 2 innings left to play. But we're not sure what's going to happen if we don't finish the game. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. The count is currently 2-0 to Durkee as he sends this up the middle and flies out to center field. Well hit ball, just getting under it is the center fielder to make the catch.
Now batting, third baseman, number 16, Jason Gonzalez.
And it appears to be a new center fielder in there for the Riptide. It's Chad Crosby. So he'll come in to replace Michael Peabody out there in center field. And Chad Crosby was the one who made the catch on that line out from Durkee. So 1 out here in the top of the 8th. And stepping up to the batter's box will be the third baseman, Jason Gonzalez. First pitch to Gonzalez missed outside for ball 1. So the count is currently 1-0. 1-0 pitch is slapped foul over the first base dugout. Gonzalez in his last at bat grounded out to a 6-4-3 double play. But he's currently 2 for 4 on the day with an RBI. So that 1-1 pitch misses outside. Count is now 2-1. Two-one pitch is in the dirt for ball 3, so Gonzalez able to get himself into a good hitter's count at 3-1. And he'll be looking for a pitch he could hit. Saints have 12 runs on 14 hits, while the Riptide have 5 runs on 8 hits. That 3-1 pitch catches the outside corner for strike 2, so the count will run full here for Jason Gonzalez. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Nobody on. And the full count pitch is slapped foul towards the first base dugout. So we'll do it again at 3-2. Payoff pitch on its way, swung on and missed. And down goes Gonzalez swinging for the second out here in the top of the 8th.
Good slider from Sublet right there, going back and forth with the fastball, and then another breaking ball, and then decided to use the slider and got a lot of movement, which definitely fooled Gonzalez.
So that'll bring up the left fielder, Evan Russell. Back in the 7th. That ball fouls. That 1-1 pitch is low and away in the dirt. Count will now be 2-1 to the left fielder Russell. That 2-1 pitch misses low and away again. So the count will be 3-1.
Looks like in the Riptides bullpen, Andrew Davis will begin to warm up.
I'm sure the Riptide are probably not thinking about bringing a new pitcher in right now. They're hoping to get this one more out and head back to the dugout. Count is full to Evan Russell, and the full count pitch misses low and away. So Russell will draw the walk and trot his way down to first base. So there'll be 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Man on first, and coming to the plate now for the Saints will be the catcher, Thomas McCarthy.
McCarthy having himself a nice game, and typically doesn't put up a lot of eye-popping offensive stats, but he's shown that he's been able to do the job today. 2 singles and a walk.
That first pitch to McCarthy is in there for a strike. 0-1.
Again, the sun's almost set, so, and we're still in the top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, shadows continue to creep over the field as this ball is a high fly ball to center field. Getting under it and making the catch is Crosby. So that'll be the final out here in the top of the 8th. Saints pick up a walk and no runs. So the score will remain 12-5 in favor of the Saints as we head to the bottom of the 8th. You are listening to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, the home of Arroyo Seco Baseball. And welcome back. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th here. Score is 12-5 in favor of the Saints. And the Riptide only have 6 outs to work with here with a 7-run deficit. Isaiah Ramos will remain on the mound for the Saints as Carson Matthews drills this to left field, and that's off the wall. Matthews will remain at second with a stand-up double. And the Riptide off to a good start here in the bottom of the 8th with that leadoff double.
That's just a good piece of hitting right there from Matthews. First pitch he saw, it was patient, hit it, and drove it to left. Just a quick little random announcement as Ramos gets settled in, is that it's National Interns Day.
It is.
For the Riptide out of the University of Miami, number 7, Chad Crosby.
And we are interns, so
And a quick little shout out to Grace, who just walked by and did not hear me.
shout out Grace.
Chad Crosby will step in.
Chad Crosby replaced Michael Peabody in center field. So this will be his first at bat here of the game here in the bottom of the 8th. First pitch is swung on and missed. Good breaking ball there from Ramos. A 1 pitch in the dirt. Count will be 1-1. That 1-1 pitch is in there for a strike. Count will now be 1-2 to Chad Crosby. Riptide started this inning off with a leadoff double from Carson Matthews. This one is fouled over the first base line. So the count will remain 1-2. One-two pitch from Ramos is swung on. High fly ball to deep right. And that is over the wall. Home run. A 2-run shot from Chad Crosby. So Crosby gets one at bat, and he makes the most of it with that 2-run home run. And that'll shorten the deficit for the Riptide, as the score will now be 7-12 in favor of the Saints.
Left fielder number 3, Max Ferguson.
So the Riptide making a little noise here in the bottom of the 8th with that 2-run shot, and coming to the plate for the Riptide will be their left fielder, Max Ferguson. Still no outs here in the bottom of the 8th. So that pitch misses high. The count is now 2-1. Ferguson had a 2-run home run back in the 6th inning. So we've seen some deep shots today.
Little home run derby here going on at Cal Lutheran.
So that one is popped up. McCarthy will look at it, but no play could be made from McCarthy, so count will be 0-1. I'm sorry. Yeah. The count was not 0-1. That was my fault. Max Ferguson draws the walk with no outs. So there'll be a man on first here with no outs. And coming to the plate now for the Riptide, it seems like we have a pinch hitter.
Blake
For-
Fudul.
Blake Fadul. He'll come in to replace Dylan Rock.
A little bit of scoreboard issues here at Cal Lutheran University.
Yeah, the scoreboard currently says the Saints have 24 runs to the Riptide 5. It is actually 12-7. It was 12-5 when we entered the bottom of the 8th, but because of that 2-run shot from Chad Crosby, it is now 12-7 in favor of the Saints. Count is currently 2-1 to Blake Fadul. 2-1 pitch is swung on and fouled back, so the count will become even here at 2-2. That 2-2 pitch misses outside. So the count will run full here. And the payoff pitch from Ramos is a chopper towards third. Coming up with it, throw on to first is Gonzalez, and he got him just by an inch. That was a close play there at first, but a strong throw from Gonzalez, and he'll retire Fadul for the first out here in the bottom of the 8th.
Now batting, number 25, Eric Begon.
And it looks like the Riptide are just utilizing all of their bench here as the Suns almost set, trailing 12-7.
Yeah, there's a pinch hitter for Connor Aoki. It's Eric Bigani. Bigani drills this to right field, but getting under it and making the grab is Forte for the second out. Ferguson will make his way to third from second on that fly ball. So there'll be a man on third here with 2 outs. And coming to the plate now for the Riptide will be their first baseman, Andre Antone. First pitch to Antone is in there for a strike. 0-1. That 0-1 pitch misses for ball 1, so the count will be 1-1 to Antone. That 1-1 pitch is fouled towards the third base dugout, so the count will be 1-2. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. 2 runs have scored. Man on third. 2 outs, 1-2 pitch from Ramos. It's in the dirt. Count will be 2-2. And we are running out of sunshine here in Thousand Oaks, California. The sun has almost set. As Antone swings and misses. And down goes Antone swinging for the final out here in the bottom of the 8th. The Riptide pick up 2 runs on a 2-run shot thanks to Chad Crosby. And we head to the top of the 9th with the score 12-7 in favor of the Saints. You are listening to Saints Baseball on YouTube Live, the home of Arroyo Seco Baseball. And welcome back, viewers. We just want to inform you that they have called the game because the sun, Cal Lutheran doesn't have any lights here. The sun is going down. It is almost set. So they don't believe that they'd have enough light to finish this game. So the teams have just decided to call this one. The Saints will end up with the victory. The final score being 12-7. Saints scored 12 runs on 12 hits. Riptide scored 7 on 10 hits. So the Saints will advance here in the CCL playoffs. They'll take on the Santa Barbara Foresters tomorrow, right back here, I believe.
Yes, at 4 o'clock.
At 4 o'clock.
All 4 of us will probably be there.
Yeah, we'll probably be back tomorrow.
Same routine.
Same routine.
You know it.
So make sure to tune in to tomorrow. And going into the Foresters, what do you think the Saints need to do to pull that one off?
I think definitely, as I've noticed, get to them early. Start off hot on the offensive side, which they've shown they've done that throughout the season. And also from the pitching standpoint, worked hard as a team and stay together because sure, the hitting could be on point, but if your pitching's not on point, that's not going to do it. Cut it. Hitting will win you games, but ultimately what gets you far in postseason at anything, whether it's summer or spring ball, is pitching. So if they're pitching, whoever starts tomorrow gets off to a hot start and is able to shut the Foresters down, they're in good shape.
Sounds good. I agree. I think pitching is definitely key. And we'll hope for a good pitching performance from the Saints tomorrow. Remember, the Saints will take on the Santa Barbara Foresters in the championship game of the CCL tomorrow, right back here at Cal Lutheran University, 4 o'clock. If you can't be here, make sure to tune into the live stream. We'll have all the action right here. For Nicolette Rojo, I am Jack Steele. We'll look forward to talking to you all tomorrow. But for now, good night.